Congratulations on your new Olympus E3. Ready for any challenge, the E3 meets all the professional requirements of DSLR photography, making it a high-performance tool for professional photographers. Thanks to a sophisticated AF system and the new Zuiko digital SWD lenses, E3 photographers are always one step ahead of the competition with the world's fastest autofocus speeds. With shutter speeds of up to 1/8000th and burst shooting with up to 5 photos per second, guaranteeing to capture every moment. The E3 has a highly effective direct in-body image stabilizer and can compensate for camera shake up to an equivalent of 5 shutter speed steps or light values. The 10.1 megapixel high-speed live MOS sensor, the TruePic 3 image processor, and the Zuiko digital lenses, which are especially designed for the requirements of digital photography, combine to guarantee excellent results. The live view function increases flexibility when taking pictures. For example, it allows you to maintain eye contact with your subject when producing portraits, while overhead and floor-level shots can also be created conveniently using the pivoting 6.4 cm 2.5-inch hypercrystal LCD screen. The results of different camera settings can be viewed on the LCD screen in real time. The optical viewfinder provides a 100% field of view and 1.15 image enlargement for precise picture composition. Like all E-system cameras, the E3 comes with a supersonic wave filter with effective dust reduction system. The supersonic wave filter is part of the precise, silent and fast SWD technology from Olympus. Supersonic wave drive technology is used not only in the SSWF, but also as the drive mechanism for the ultra-fast autofocus. In the case of the image stabilizer, the SWD ensures fast and precise compensating movement of the sensor so as to stabilize the image. The dustproof and splashproof features mean the E3 offers maximum reliability. In line with the 4/3 standard, the E3 was designed for the specific demands of digital photography and offers photographers extraordinary flexibility and freedom. In addition to the many lenses available, including the recently introduced Zuiko digital SWD model for extremely fast autofocus, the E3, with its wide range of accessories, can be adapted to the specific requirements of individual professionals. For situations where cables can't practically be used to control the flash, Olympus offers wireless flashes FL50R and FL36R. The professional E3 from Olympus meets the need for uncompromising speed, image quality, viewing and live view. Also, when it comes to exposure and image control, as well as resilience, the E3 meets professional requirements in full. The easy-to-use controls of the E3 offer you 3 basic options. You can operate the camera very quickly by turning the main or subsidiary dials and pressing the relevant direct button. The second option is to use the Super Function display to carry out the settings. To do this, press OK and use the arrow keys to navigate to the required function and set it. The third variant is to use the menu, particularly when you want to set advanced camera functions. For example, you can change the setting for the display time. This determines how long a button remains activated after you release it. In the menu, you can use the My Mode function to store two different current camera settings and call these up again as necessary using the function button. You can change the setting of the FN button and the AFL/AEL in the setup menu, which allows you to work even faster and more reliably. The function key can be programmed in many different ways. For example, you can assign the one-touch white balance function to this button. Another option is to use it as a depth of view button to judge the depth of field. This is also possible with live view, provided the relevant menu setting has been chosen. By the way, in this case, the image does not go darker, as is the case with the viewfinder. Alternatively, you can use the function key to switch to the stored AF original position. When viewing your photos, you can press the function button to see two images next to one another. This is useful if you want to compare various images from a series of exposures. There are 4 basic mode functions available for the AEL key. Mode 1 is used to determine the light level while focusing. In Mode 2, the light is measured when you press down the release completely. In Mode 3, you focus with the AEL button rather than with the release. Mode 4 allows you to focus using the AEL button, and the release is pressed down fully to measure the light levels. Ahead of you lie countless new photo opportunities. Discover your world with the Olympus E3. When you're far away from the comforts of the studio, it's important to use a camera that meets the highest standards in terms of speed and reliability. To make sure you never miss the opportunity for a good shot, the E3 is ready to go within a few milliseconds from standby mode. The burst shooting function enables the E3 to take 5 pictures per second with full resolution. This, combined with the fastest possible shutter speed of 1/8000th of a second, means that even the fastest movements can be captured. In order to survive in even the most extreme conditions, the internal workings of the E3 are protected by a robust yet lightweight magnesium body. The shock-absorbing interior consists of a high-quality, perfectly crafted and extremely robust plastic and metal chassis, ensuring a precisely functioning mechanism, additional stability and maximum protection. The high-quality workmanship ensures protection from dust and splashes, as well as resistance to shock. Together with the dustproof and splashproof Pro and Top Pro lenses, this also guarantees maximum reliability in tougher environments. Because the portrait grip is also protected in this way, the camera enjoys all-round protection from environmental influences. The sensor itself is well protected by the supersonic wave filter, for example when changing the lens. This filter is located between the shutter and the image sensor. It ensures that dust or similar particles are not allowed to settle on the sensor. Instead, these land on the filter, and when this is activated, are shaken off by a series of ultrasound vibrations. The robustness of a camera is absolutely crucial for me. I work in an environment where I'm dependent on available light, real outdoor conditions, which I often have no control over. As a professional photographer, I shoot my pictures at the decisive moment, which is not always under ideal conditions. So my camera must be 100% reliable. It must be insensitive to cold, moisture and dust. Completely dependable. And that's what the E3 definitely is. For me, a camera's most important features are its reliability and robustness. I don't want to have to worry about my camera, as otherwise I would never dare to go after some of the shots that constitute the mainstay of my work. For me, a camera must be shock-proof, because you often get into difficult situations. It must also be completely splash-proof. After all, when I find a really good subject, I can't stop shooting just because it started to rain. I can't compromise on this issue, and don't want to have to think about it.
Da will ich nicht drüber nachdenken müssen.
The fold-out 6.4 centimeter display of the E3 can also be used as a viewfinder. It enables you to take shots from angles that would have been hard to achieve in the past. The pivoting hypercrystal LCD screen can be turned from one side to the other and from top to bottom. The viewfinder will no longer limit your creativity, and you'll be able to capture the most extreme perspectives without dislocating your back. Live view is one of Olympus's most remarkable functions. It allows me to take photographs in a way I'm familiar with, using an eye-level viewer. Live view lets me take professional pictures even when I choose an unusual perspective, for example from the floor. Sometimes, in order to get a good picture, you need luck and an awkward body position rather than time and patience. I want complete control of my photographs, and that's what, in my opinion, makes live view so great. Most of the time I compose through the optical viewfinder, which on the E3 is really large, even with 100% coverage. In addition, the E3 offers live view function, which I use under certain conditions, for example when shooting just above the water surface or during the winner's ceremony at the end of a race. Here, I don't shoot blindly, but instead use the LCD to make a proper composition. It's of great benefit to macro photographers too, as they're able to make a 10 times enlargement of a specific detail, which they want to focus on very precisely.
Máte naprosto precizní kontrolu nad ostrostí snímku.
The live view monitor can be used to display the key exposure settings for the picture preview. The E3 and E-System accessories offer several options that make your work much easier, particularly when it comes to macro photography. For example, in MF mode, you can enlarge the image on the display 5, 7 or 10 times. This enables very precise manual focusing and is very well suited to macro shots. The anti-shock setting uses mirror lockup to prevent shake due to vibrations. In AF mode, you can link the measuring fields of the ESP measurement with the AF points and thereby obtain an even more precise exposure of the focused image detail. The setup menu contains the settings for 3 different framing assist patterns that will make it easier for you to compose your shots: grid, golden section or scale. You activate the selected pattern by simply pressing the Info button.
Ich habe selbst auch das 35er Makro.
Personally, I use the 35mm macro lens with ring flash.
Nahen Objekten, die immer wieder auch in meinem
The focus is very shallow, even in extreme
schnell die
close-ups.
Schärfe verschwindet und da macht es einen sehr großen Sinn.
The grid display allows me to frame the image directly,
Alles genau ordnen.
while the enlarge function enables me to define the sharpness precisely. All the display functions offered by Live View make my work very easy.
Im Live View macht es ein unheimlich bequemes Arbeiten möglich.
When you're taking static shots, the Olympus Studio software enables you to control all the functions of the E3 from your computer and to store the images directly on your hard drive. This also permits particularly effective workflow because the photos can be processed by the photographer's assistant during the shoot. The E3 is the perfect tool for the creative use of the flash. Two new flashes have been added to the Olympus E system, offering a number of useful new functions. Wireless flash. The remote control flash system enables you to create images with several freestanding flash devices. The flashes can be controlled up to a distance of 5 meters, provided you're within a 120-degree angle to the camera. If the angle is just 60 degrees, then the distance increases to 10 meters. You can use reflection, for example by means of walls, to increase the range even further. You can divide any number of flashes into 3 groups. The integrated flash handles communication with the remote control devices. 4 different channels are available for this, thus allowing several photographers to work in parallel without disruption. To a certain extent, the external flashes work like a mobile studio flash system, enabling you to set all flash functions for every group individually using the camera's super function display.
Das neue Remote-Flash-System von
The new remote flash system of the E3 is really great because it's like a tiny mobile studio. It's lightweight and has a wireless remote control function. You can control every flash with ease using the camera menu. It's just sensational that I can arrange my lighting in a professional way as a one-man show, all on my own.
Dass ich das eigentlich im Grunde genommen als One-Man-Show, aber professionell gestalten kann.
The E3 has an X-flash synchrony time of 1/250th of a second. For even faster shutter speeds, the FL50R or FL36R high-speed flashes are used. The Super FP flash mode enables a speed of 1/4000th of a second to be achieved on all E-system cameras, and even 1/8000th with the E3. To activate the Super FP flash mode, press the mode button directly on the flash. The E3 also has a solution for the opposite extreme. The noise reduction function can be activated for shutter speeds of over 2 seconds. The camera automatically suppresses noise to create noiseless images. The length of the exposure process is doubled because the photo is taken once as normal and once with the shutter closed, so that the dark current noise can be subtracted from the final photo. The increase in image quality is considerable. By contrast, noise suppression is used with high ISO values. You can select the level of noise suppression in the menu. Fast-moving subjects require swift responses from the photographer as well as quick equipment. The E3's autofocus is currently one of the fastest in the digital single-lens reflex camera class. This is made possible by the highly developed ultra-fast 11-point AF system and the new supersonic wave drive lenses. The biaxial AF system, with 11 cross sensors, uses both vertical and horizontal sensor lines to calculate the correct focus from a total of 88 different data points. In addition, the E3 falls back on pixel multiplication technology. This enhances performance in poor lighting conditions to -2 exposure values in ISO 100. There are numerous settings for adjusting the autofocus functions to various situations. You can decide whether to activate all 11 AF cross-measurement fields, a group of fields, or just one single field. In the Setup menu, it's possible to control the sensitivity of the individual AF field. If you choose Normal, the camera focuses within the current field and on the surrounding area. In the Small setting, measurement only takes place within the field. In the Setup menu, you can set the sequence in which the AF fields are to be switched, among other things. It's even possible, during a long exposure, to adjust sharpness in manual mode. The AF measurement field selection button and the two setting dials can be used to activate the right AF field quickly and conveniently. The continuous autofocus with prediction autofocus is the perfect answer for moving subjects. The camera continues to refocus even if the subject moves or the photo composition changes. The continuous autofocus can also be fixed so that it doesn't adjust even if the subject distance suddenly changes due to another object.
The
autofocus system of the E3 works very quickly and precisely. It works perfectly, even in poor lighting conditions, which is very important for me because I tend to work with the available light. There are also shots where you've just got to rely on the camera. For example, when taking blind photographs, when following a news story, or when taking photos from a car window in sensitive situations in crisis regions, so that you don't have much time to look through the viewfinder. If you feel that the autofocus really works on fast shots, then life is much easier. There's nothing worse than a blurred photograph, because you'll never sell it. Generally, I use spot autofocusing. That way I'm able to focus precisely on a subject which I really want to have in focus. With the focus lock, I then make a composition. During some events and actions where I can't use spot focusing, I choose some of the focusing groups. According to my intention, I then choose to have this group on top, at the bottom, in a corner, or in the center of the composition. The E3 has an integrated mechanical image stabilizer which operates like a built-in tripod, which allows you to take handheld photographs up to 5 exposure values longer. This is particularly useful when taking macro shots for longer exposure times or very long focal distances for shake-free pictures. Naturally, the image stabilizer also compensates for involuntary hand movements that can lead to blur. The effectiveness of the image stabilizer is particularly obvious when you take pictures with the ED 300mm and the two-fold converter EC20. This combination gives you a focal distance of 1200mm when converted to the small picture format, and has an impressive focal aperture of 5.6. Because the image stabilizer is housed in the camera body, all of your 4/3 lenses will benefit from this top-class technology on the E3. It will stabilize all lenses. The image stabilizer is activated by pressing the IS button. The display and viewfinder will show whether the stabilizer is activated. In live view mode, you can check the effect of the image stabilizer by holding down the IS button. You can choose between 2 different modes in the menu. In IS1 setting, the image stabilizer compensates for movement on both axes. If you select IS2, only the vertical axis will be corrected, which achieves much better results for panning effects. The image stabilizer of the E3 allows me to work with telephoto lenses, for example, something I like to do very much, particularly my favorite lens, the 150mm. This gives me 5 shutter speeds automatically, and I no longer need to place the camera on a tripod, so I can move about freely. For me, this makes the image stabilizer one of the most important features on the E3.
Und das macht für mich den Bildstabilisator zu einem der mit wichtigsten Features bei der E3.
Stabilizátor na E3.
Image stabilization on the E3 really is beneficial. I personally use it in various situations where you don't want to disrupt the atmosphere by setting up a monopod or a tripod. Thanks to the image stabilizer, I can now use shutter speeds of 5 EV steps lower than normal.
Expozičních kroků delší čas.
Toll am Bildstabilisator der E3.
The great thing about the E3 image stabilizer is that I can get panning effects much more easily by deactivating the x-axis. This keeps the subject sharp and captures the movement.
Bewegungsablauf ist dann dieser Effekt, den ich dadurch auch visualisieren kann.
The live view monitor always shows the key exposure settings. Pressing the info button allows you to call up the various displays, such as a real-time histogram. The effect of changes in camera settings is shown on the live view monitor in real time. For example, if you set the gradation to auto, you'll see the so-called shadow adjustment technology directly on the monitor. This entails adjustment to extreme light situations when photographing against the light. To maximize the performance of the high-resolution lenses and high-speed live MOS sensor, the image properties are enhanced by the newly developed TruePic 3 engine. 3 image processing techniques ensure less noise, better reproduction of detail, and realistic reproduction of color.
Was mich am meisten überzeugt,
What I like most about the E3 is the fact that it's a great all-rounder. It can be used to meet all the professional challenges that face me every day as I photograph architecture, people, and news stories. It's fast, reliable, and quiet. 3 very important features for me that make the E3 a really excellent piece of kit. When it comes to picture quality, the camera actually exceeds my highest expectations.
Übertrifft sogar meine Erwartungen.